Listen to me carefully because what I'm about to say might be the wake-up call you've been avoiding your whole life. Deep down, you already know it. You've been sacrificing your own peace, your own energy, your own dignity just to please people who wouldn't even lift a finger for you if the roles were reversed. You've been saying yes when your heart screamed a no, and every time you did, a piece of your soul was sold cheap. Respect isn't something others hand you. It's something you demand from yourself first. If you don't respect yourself enough to set boundaries, you'll become a slave to everyone else's expectations, their needs, their agendas. Understand this. Every eyes to something unworthy of you is a no to your future, to your growth, to your dreams. People will use you until you are empty. But the day you learn to say no without apology, you become powerful beyond measure. Saying no is not rejection, it's self-preservation. It's the boldest form of self-love. The world doesn't respect weakness. It respects strength, discipline, and courage. So stop betraying yourself. Stand tall, take back control, and never again be afraid of two letters that can change your life. N-O. Saying no protects your time, energy, and mental health. Think about that for a second. Time is the one thing you will never get back. Every second that slips through your fingers is gone forever, and yet so many people spend it on things that don't matter. On people who drain them, on obligations that weigh them down. You've been told your whole life to be polite, to compromise, to make others comfortable, and for what? So that someone else can feel good while you fade into the background, exhausted, overwhelmed, and slowly losing yourself. Your energy is sacred, and when you give it away recklessly, you are essentially trading your life force for nothing. Every time you say yes to someone else's demands, when your heart is screaming no, you are diluting your purpose, fragmenting your focus, and weakening your drive. Mental health is not just a buzzword. It's the foundation of everything you are, everything you do, and everything you can become. Stress, resentment, and anxiety grow from the soil of unrestrained uneases. People will take what you give freely, but if you protect your boundaries, if you refuse to overextend yourself, you send a message you matter. When you start saying no, something powerful happens. You stop being a doormat. You stop being a person who exists solely for others' convenience. Instead, you reclaim ownership of your life. Every no you utter is an act of courage. It is a declaration that you value your time more than someone else's expectation of you. Time is the currency of life, and every moment spent on things that don't serve you is a moment wasted. Imagine if every hour you spent trying to please someone else, gossiping, stressing over trivial matters, or agreeing to tasks that crush your spirit was instead invested in your goals, your passions, your dreams. The difference is staggering. Saying no is not selfish. It is intelligent. It is strategic. It is the decision to prioritize your future over someone else's temporary comfort. Energy is another priceless asset. You have only so much of it each day. And if you're giving it away carelessly, smiling when you're dying inside, agreeing when you're exhausted, staying when you should leave, you are draining the very fuel that keeps you moving forward. Life will demand a lot from you, but you don't have to volunteer for every little task that is not yours. Saying no is like closing a valve that prevents your energy from being siphoned off by people who don't appreciate it. When you conserve your energy, you can focus on building, creating, dominating, and achieving. You can channel it into your growth, your health, your ambitions. There is a reason the most successful, powerful people in history are selective about what they commit to. They understand the awe of energy. Your energy is finite, and protecting it is not optional, it is essential. Mental health suffers when you don't say no. Anxiety, frustration, and guilt accumulate silently inside you like water rising in a basement. Every time you suppress a boundary to make someone else happy, you are stacking bricks on a wall that will eventually collapse. Mental health is directly tied to the respect you have for yourself. If you cannot honor your limits, you teach your mind that its needs are secondary. That is a fast track to burnout, depression, and a life filled with regret. Saying no frees you from this cycle. It allows your mind to breathe, to think clearly, and to focus on the things that actually matter. It is a form of self-preservation, a radical act of self-respect in a world that constantly asks for more than you can give. But here's the truth most people never admit. The first time you say no, it will feel uncomfortable. You will fear judgment, conflict, or disappointment. That's because you've been conditioned to equate a no with with being unkind or unhelpful. Let me tell you something. Those fears are lies. Saying no is not cruelty. It is honesty. It is integrity. It is refusing to be complicit in your own exhaustion. The people who truly matter in your life, the ones worth your time, energy, and love, will respect your decision. The rest will fall away. And that's exactly how it should be. Your life is not a buffet of everyone else's desires. It is yours, and you must protect it. Start small if you have to. Say no to minor things that irritate or distract you. Say no to invitations that drain you instead of energizing you. Say no to tasks at work that are not your responsibility. Practice this until it becomes second nature. With every no, you gain strength, you gain clarity, you gain respect, not just from others, but from yourself. Imagine the mental space you will create, the energy you will reclaim, and the hours you will free up to pee. Pursue what you were actually born to do. This is not exaggeration, this is reality. Boundaries are not walls, they are bridges to your best life. Respect yourself enough to say no, because your time is sacred, your energy is priceless, and your mental health is everything. Every eyes that doesn't serve you is a betrayal of your own potential. Life is short, and every moment wasted on what doesn't matter is a moment you'll never get back. Protect your time, guard your energy, shield your mind. Saying no is not weakness. It is power. It is freedom. It is the ultimate act of self-respect. Start today. Say no without guilt. Say no without fear. Say no and watch how your life changes when you finally put yourself first. Boundaries are a sign of strength, not selfishness. Listen closely, because most people in this world have been trained to think the opposite. They have been told that saying the no, setting limits, and protecting their time and energy is selfish, rude, or unkind. That is a lie. It is a lie that keeps people weak, exhausted, and trapped in lives they never wanted. Strength is not about bending to everyone else's will. Strength is not measured by how much you can tolerate or how much you can sacrifice. Strength is measured by how clearly you understand your own value, how firmly you protect it, and how courageously you enforce it. Boundaries are the physical manifestation of self-respect. They are the walls that shield you from those who would drain you, the fences that preserve your energy, and the lines in the sand that define your limits. When you create boundaries, you are telling the world that you matter, that your time, your health, and your peace are not negotiable. Weak people confuse boundaries with selfishness because weak people depend on others' approval for their self-worth. They bend, they comply, they accept whatever is thrown at them, and they do it at the expense of their own growth. But strong people understand that boundaries are the ultimate declaration of independence. When you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you are not being selfish, you are being smart. You are preserving your resources, protecting your focus, and giving yourself the space to excel in what actually matters. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and anyone who tells you otherwise is asking you to betray yourself. Boundaries are a shield, not a wall to isolate you. They are the line that separates what is acceptable from what is toxic, what serves you from what drains you. The power of boundaries goes beyond just saying to no. It is in knowing your limits and communicating them clearly. It is in deciding who you allow into your life, what responsibilities you accept, and what demands you ignore. It is in realizing that your energy is a currency and spending it recklessly on people, situations, or things that do not respect you is foolish. Every time you fail to set a boundary, you teach the world that it is okay to overstep, to take advantage, and to disrespect your time and effort. But when you enforce boundaries, everything changes. People begin to recognize your strength. They start to see that you are not a person to be pushed around, that your respect must be earned, and that you will not tolerate nonsense. Boundaries command respect in a way that words alone never can. Let's be honest, setting boundaries is not always easy. There is a fear that saying a no will make others angry, that it will create conflict, or that it will make you look selfish. But the truth is, anyone who becomes angry at you for protecting yourself is showing their own weakness, not yours. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself. Your responsibility is to protect your energy, your peace, and your vision. It takes real strength to stand firm when everyone else expects you to bend. It takes courage to enforce limits when society tells you that accommodating others is the right thing to do. Kiss a warrior's mindset to recognize that your life, your time, and your mental health are non-negotiable. Boundaries also create clarity. They allow you to identify what is healthy and what is toxic. They separate those who support your growth from those who hinder it. Strong people don't live in chaos or confusion. They live with intention. Boundaries create structure, order, and direction. They give you control over your life and prevent others from dictating your actions. Without boundaries, your life becomes a series of compromises, obligations, and regrets. With boundaries, you reclaim control, focus your energy, and protect the most valuable asset you have, yourself. Another critical truth is that boundaries teach others how to treat you. People do not innately know your limits. They have to be shown. When you enforce boundaries consistently, people adjust. They learn that you are not to be taken lightly, that your time and energy are sacred, and that you will not allow disrespect. ECT, or manipulation. This is not selfishness, it is leadership. It is strength in action. Weak people hope others will respect them without showing it, but strong people do not wait for permission to be respected. They demand it by setting and maintaining boundaries. Finally, boundaries are a path to freedom. Freedom from exhaustion, freedom from resentment, freedom from the constant pressure to please, freedom to pursue your goals, to live intentionally, and to invest your energy in what truly matters. When you respect your own limits and enforce them, you create a life where you are in control, where you are the architect of your destiny, and where no one else can dictate your worth. Boundaries are the backbone of a strong, successful, and fulfilled life. They are not walls to shut the world out. They are gates that open to those who respect your value and close to those who do not. So remember this, setting boundaries is a sign of strength, not selfishness. Saying no when needed, protecting your time, and preserving your energy are acts of courage and self-respect. The world will always push, pull, and demand, but only you can define what is acceptable. Only you can enforce the limits that protect your peace. Only you can stand firm and show that strength is born not from pleasing everyone, but from respecting yourself. Boundaries are your power, your armor, and your path to freedom. Embrace them, defend them, and never apologize for them. Every eyes to the wrong thing is a no to your destiny. Think about that for a moment. Life doesn't wait for you to figure things out. Every day, every decision, every agreement you make is a fork in the road. The problem is, most people live in autopilot, saying yes, yes, to the things that feel easiest, the things that are expected of them, or the things that momentarily satisfy others. But every time you do that, you are silently denying yourself the life you were meant to live. Destiny is not about chance, it's about choice. And if you are constantly agreeing to obligations, distractions, or commitments that do not serve your higher purpose, you are sabotaging the very future you dreamed of. Every time you prioritize someone else's comfort over your own vision, you are rejecting your potential. You are telling the world that it is more important than your own greatness. That is not how champions are made. Champions, leaders, and extraordinary people understand that every decision matters. They understand that their time, their focus, and their energy are sacred. Every hour you waste on the wrong thing is an hour you could have invested in building your future. Every moment you compromise your values, settle for mediocrity, or choose comfort over challenge is a moment lost. And these moments add up. They accumulate into years of stagnation, frustration, and regret. If you want to create the life you were destined for, you must become ruthless with your choices. You must treat your time and energy as if they are precious, because they are. Every eyes that doesn't align with your purpose is a betrayal of yourself. The world will constantly demand your true eyes. It will want you to compromise, to conform, and to be available for things that do not belong to you. Family, friends, colleagues, strangers, they all have expectations. And many of those expectations, while well-intentioned, are not aligned with your personal path. Weak people give in. Strong people choose. They understand that every eyes carries a cost. Every eyes to the wrong thing is a no to what actually matters. It is a refusal of your potential, a denial of your dreams, and a theft of your own power. Those who achieve greatness do not get there by saying yes to everything. They get there by saying yes only to what moves them forward and saying no to everything else. That is the essence of discipline, focus, and self-respect. Saying no to the wrong thing is not selfish. It is strategic. It is the ultimate act of respect for your future self. When you say, no to distractions, time wasters, and toxic demands, you free yourself to say yes to opportunities that matter. You open doors for growth, learning, and success. You make space for challenges that will push you beyond your limits. Destiny does not accommodate indecision, laziness, or people-pleasing. It requires courage, clarity, and discipline. If you are constantly saying yes to things that are easy, convenient, or expected, you will wake up one day and realize that your life looks nothing like the you dreamed of. Every choice matters, and the cost of the wrong choices is too high to ignore. Understanding this requires brutal honesty. You must look at your life and ask yourself, where am I saying yes out of fear, guilt, or obligation? Where am I compromising my future for temporary comfort? Where am I allowing distractions to steal my energy, attention, and focus? This is not easy to confront because it means admitting that you have allowed others' expectations to dictate your path. But the moment you face this truth, you gain the power to change it. You gain the ability to reclaim your destiny. Saying no becomes not just an option, but a necessity. It becomes the weapon you wield to protect your purpose, your ambitions, and your life. Every eyes to the wrong thing also sends a message to yourself and to the world that you are not in control. It tells others that your priorities are negotiable, your time is disposable, and your energy is unlimited. That is a dangerous message because it allows life to push you around. When you start saying no, you take control. You reclaim ownership of your time and energy. You dictate the terms of your life. You decide what is worth your effort and what is not. That is how leaders are born, how champions rise, and how extraordinary lives are built. Every no you utter builds a fortress around your potential, ensuring that nothing meaningless or unaligned can sneak in and steal your future. Finally, saying no to the wrong thing allows you to say, yes to destiny. It is the key to unlocking your purpose. It is the practice of prioritizing yourself, your growth, and your vision above temporary pressures, distractions, or guilt. It is the realization that your life is not a buffet of everyone else's needs, but a mission that belongs solely to you. Every eyes that aligns with your destiny moves you closer to greatness. Every no that protects your time and energy clears the path to achieve it. This is not just about discipline. It is about survival, fulfillment, and triumph. The path to destiny is littered with people who said yes to everything except what mattered most. Do not be one of them. Protect your yeses, guard your time, choose your commitments wisely. Your destiny is waiting, but it will never wait for indecision, fear, or misplaced obedience. Respect begins with self-respect before it comes from others. That is the truth that most people fail to understand. They spend their entire lives trying to earn respect from others, begging for approval, bending to expectations, and compromising their values, all while neglecting the most important relationship they will ever have, the one with themselves. You cannot demand respect from the world if you do not first honor yourself. You cannot expect others to treat you as valuable, disciplined, and worthy if you constantly treat yourself as disposable, secondary, or unimportant. Respect is not granted by status, money, or charm. It is granted by how you stand for yourself, how clearly you enforce your boundaries, and how unshakably you believe in your own worth. Self-respect is the foundation upon which all other respect is built. Without it, you are vulnerable, aimless, and easily manipulated by those who see weakness as an opportunity. Think about this for a moment. When you fail to respect yourself, you send the world a message that your time, your energy, and your dignity are negotiable. You allow people to speak to you poorly, to treat you unfairly, and to demand more than you are willing to give. You tolerate behavior that is beneath you because deep down, you have not declared to yourself that you are worth defending, and the world notices. Weakness is a beacon. When you show that you cannot stand firm for yourself, people take advantage. They overstep, they push boundaries, and they demand more than you should ever give. But when you respect yourself, when you hold your head high and enforce your limits without people recognize it. They understand that you are not someone to be manipulated, disrespected, or underestimated. Respect is a reflection. It mirrors the energy you carry within you. Self-respect is not about arrogance, ego, or thinking you are better than anyone else. It is about clarity, discipline, and integrity. It is about knowing what you will accept and what you will refuse. It is about prioritizing your values over temporary approval, your goals over other people's convenience, and your well-being over unnecessary obligations. Self-respect is about refusing to let anyone else dictate your worth or control your life. It is about making choices that honor your potential, even when those choices are uncomfortable or unpopular. The moment you embrace self-respect, the world begins to mirror it back to you. People will start treating you differently, not because you demand it from them, but because you have earned it through the way you carry yourself. Consider the power of respect in everyday life. When you respect yourself enough to refuse toxic relationships, people will respect that choice. When you respect yourself enough to set boundaries, others will adapt or step aside. When you respect yourself enough to invest in your growth and refuse to waste time on meaningless distractions, people notice. Your self-respect becomes your armor and your weapon. It signals strength and confidence in ways words cannot. And the truth is, people cannot truly respect you until you first respect yourself. If you constantly apologize for your existence, overextend to please everyone, or allow others to walk over you, respect will always be fleeting. It is impossible to demand from others what you do not first practice yourself. Self-respect also breeds accountability. When you hold yourself to high standards, you inspire others to hold themselves to high standards in your presence. When you refuse to accept mediocrity from yourself, you naturally refuse to accept mediocrity from others. The energy you carry communicates your expectations. The clearer and stronger your self-respect, the less you tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or laziness around you. Respect becomes automatic because people instinctively understand that you are someone who knows their worth and will defend it. You do not need to argue or demand respect. Your actions, choices, and boundaries speak louder than words ever could. Another crucial aspect of self-respect is authenticity. People respect those who are genuine, who act with integrity, and who do not compromise themselves to fit in or to appease others. When you respect yourself, you stop living to please people and start living for your purpose. You stop pretending to be someone you're not and start embracing the full power of who you are. Authenticity breeds respect because it is rare in a world full of conformity and people-pleasing. When you honor yourself, your time, your values, and your vision, others cannot help but recognize your strength and treat you accordingly. Finally, self-respect is the key to freedom. It frees you from the chains of validation, manipulation, and dependency on others' approval. It gives you the courage to walk away from situations, people, or environments that do not serve you. It gives you the confidence to stand alone if necessary, knowing that your value does not come from external validation, but from the unwavering belief in yourself. When you respect yourself, you no longer need to chase respect from others because it naturally follows. People respond to the energy you radiate, and that energy is strongest when it comes from a foundation of self-respect. So remember this, respect begins within you. It is not something you ask for, beg for, or fight for externally. It is something you cultivate internally through your choices, your boundaries, and your unwavering belief in your own value. Without self-respect, respect from others is hollow, fleeting, and unreally. With self-respect, respect becomes inevitable, natural, and permanent. Stand tall, honor your worth, defend your limits, and act with integrity. Demand nothing less from yourself, and the world will have no choice but to meet you at that standard. Self-respect is your foundation, your power, and your ultimate path to living a life of dignity, strength, and honor. Power and freedom are built by unapologetically saying no. It is one of the most misunderstood truths in life, yet one of the most powerful. Most people spend their entire existence saying yes to things they shouldn't, to people who don't deserve it, and to situations that drain them. They confuse compliance with respect, people-pleasing with kindness, and agreement with strength. But here's the hard truth. Every ice that does not serve your purpose, every agreement that compromises your time, energy, or values, chips away at your power and erodes your freedom. Real power is not given. It is claimed, earned, and protected. And the foundation of that power is the ability to say no without hesitation, without guilt, and without apology. Freedom is not about what the world allows you to do. It is about the boundaries you enforce and the choices you refuse to compromise. Saying no unapologetically is an act of courage. It requires discipline, clarity, and self-respect. Every time you decline a request, a demand, or a distraction that does not align with your priorities, you are asserting your authority over your life. You are signaling to yourself and to the world that you are the one in control. Weak people fear the word no because they worry about conflict, rejection, or disapproval. Strong people embrace it because they understand that their time, energy, and destiny are priceless. Power grows when you stop bending to everyone else's will and start standing firm in your own. Freedom grows when you refuse to be pulled into obligations, expectations, and distractions that do not serve you. Our mission. The moment you learn to say no unapologetically, you take back control of your life and your energy. Think about the consequences of always saying, "Ice, yes." Every eyes that does not serve you is a chain around your potential. Every agreement that compromises your values is a weight on your shoulders. Every distraction you accept that does not advance your vision is a step backward on the path to your freedom. Time, energy, and focus are limited resources. Once they are spent, they are gone forever. People who refuse to say no are constantly at the mercy of others' agendas, constantly reacting, constantly drained, and constantly off course. The truly powerful do not let this happen. They recognize that freedom is not given, it is protected. Saying no unapologetically is the act of protection. It is the statement that your life belongs to you and that no one else has the right to dictate your actions, your focus, or your future. There is also a psychological element to an apologetic no. When you say no without guilt, you build confidence, self-respect, and internal authority. You demonstrate to yourself that your voice matters, that your choices are valid, and that your energy is non-negotiable. Every time you allow yourself to be manipulated into saying yes, you weaken your inner power. Every time you assert yourself with a firm no, you strengthen it. Freedom is not something external, it is something cultivated inside you. When you command your life with clear boundaries and unwavering decisions, the world adapts to your power. People respect limits, and limits create order, control, and freedom. Saying no also filters your environment. Life is full of distractions, toxic relationships, and obligations that do not belong to you. The moment you learn to say no unapologetically, you remove the unnecessary noise, the wasted energy, and the chaos that holds you back. Your mind becomes sharper, your focus becomes clearer, and your life becomes aligned with your purpose. Freedom is the natural consequence of selective engagement. The more selectively you commit your energy, the more freedom you create for the things that matter. Power is the natural consequence of boundaries. The more decisively you refuse what does not serve you, the more control you have over your destiny. It is important to recognize that unapologetic no does not mean you are unkind, cruel, or disconnected. It means you are disciplined, intentional, and self-aware. You do not apologize for valuing your time, energy, or purpose because those are the very things that make your life meaningful. Every great leader, innovator, and successful person understands this principle. They do not bend to every demand, they do not chase every request, and they do not dilute their energy for convenience. They protect their boundaries and they say no boldly because it is the only way to preserve the life they are building. Ultimately, power and freedom are inseparable. From the ability to say no unapologetically. Power comes from the respect you command when you enforce your limits. Freedom comes from the space you create when you refuse obligations that do not align with your priorities. Saying no is not